Tape, you guys know what to deal with tape probably, if you've used it before. Pierce hooked me up with the sticky goat tape. I love this stuff for wrapping around my thumbs when I'm doing my Olympic lifts, right? Because you start to use hook grip, and sometimes that'll just fly off there. You start beating up that thumb quite a bit. Putting a couple pieces around that tip of that thumb is awesome. It really helps protect it. Or your fingers in general. This is just general athletic tape, and then Jordan uses this stuff for her wrists.
No, my thumbs.
For your thumbs as well, and then tape over it. I forget what it's called. Kinesio tape, yeah. Yeah, so you're gonna want somebody who knows what they're doing more or less to put the kinesio tape on, but that's become a big trend over the years past. I think that I think there's some value to it. It does support the muscles as opposed to taking, like I'm back in high school, and whenever we get injured, they'd like tightly wrap with white athletic tape a certain part, and just to kind of compress it, and you would restrict mobility. This kind of goes the opposite way, and it tries to separate sometimes. Think about if I can, it's elastic, so if I can tighten it out and put it on there, it can, in a way, kind of pull the skin up a little bit from the tissue. It helps alleviate some of the inflammation and the fluid that's within that tissue if it's a swollen area or injured area. And there's, like, if you watch the game, well, regionals is going on right now. If you tune into that, you'll probably see people, I look like they're wearing a shirt and all it is kinesio tape. So it's getting a little crazy, but it can be helpful. It can help improve range of motion, support the muscle as it heals. Some would call it, I think the phrase is endogenous analgesics. They'll say that putting this on creates some sort of numbing effect. I don't know that that's true, but that's a claim that some people make that use the kinesio tape. I know a lot of people that have used it have had, they do like it. So I have used it too for my upper back on a few times, and I think it's worth a shot if you have an area or something you're trying to work on, or an injury. You can also create grips out of it. There's a cool video on YouTube. I'm not going to recreate it because I don't know how to do it, but she, within like a minute, you send that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty slick, actually. Just a piece of tape, and she showed how you can make a quick gymnastics grip with tape around.
Chanel knows how to do it.
Yeah, see Chanel, or Jordan if she knows how to do it. But that can be a quick way if you're starting to tear up your hands, which we're going to talk about in just a second as well. I put chalk up here because, like, guys, you don't need that much chalk, all right? And it needs to stay in the bucket, right? Rule number 3. I don't know where this LeBron shit comes into play all the time. Like, people chalking up, man. It's you know, put a little on your hands. It helps. I get it, right? But you don't need to take a big chunk, go set it by your barbell, and chalk up every time you lift. You don't need it. Put a little bit on your hands. Helps with your grip, but don't overdo that stuff. Grips. These are not a bad tool to implement if your hands are torn or you're just starting. But these are just basic gymnastics grips if you don't want to do the little tape process. But these are just putting 2 fingers through. I think these are Chanel's, so they're pretty small too. But, right? See how you can see how it works, right? I'd strap this in, protects my hand a little bit, gives me a little bit better grip. Okay? Starting off, a lot of people start to tear their hands because of the pull-ups and the barbell work. And I want to address that really quickly too. So if this is the barbell and I grab with my hand in the middle of my hand and I squeeze over it and I pull on something, that takes that layer of skin where everybody gets the blisters and folds it over. Right? So now I have that folded over layer of tissue either from the pull-up bar or from the bar that I'm pulling. And that's what kills, and that's what rips the hands open. So what I want you guys to play with is taking the bar and placing it directly on top of that and then wrapping your hand around. It'll be far less painful. You'll tear far less often. All right? It taxes your grip a little bit more, but that's a good thing. You just get stronger. All right? So that bar position on the pull-up bar or the barbell can make a big difference. Bar goes right over that part where the calluses form, not below it, so you don't have you don't wrap that tissue over the bar. Does that make sense? All right. And then ointments, again, I don't use anything, but I know some people use this kind of stuff. There's all sorts of tools now coming out that you can put in those blisters or fill them up. And I know some people do swear by this stuff. It can help recover it faster and kind of fill that in while it's healing. But the best thing to do if you get calluses that are really big, you got to shower, your hands are wet, shave them down with a file. That can help. I think after a while, you just kind of get used to it, and the calluses don't get that big. Once you learn to hold the bar better, it doesn't become much of an issue anymore. But early on, it definitely becomes an issue, especially if you're not used to doing the kind of stuff that you will start off here. Cool. There's also just hand protection. Again, I've never really worn gloves. They're becoming more and more popular. I think you see them a lot more athletes using them. Now, I guess I could see the relevancy for this for rope climbs. Really, the only thing I could see. For me, I don't like them on pull-ups or anything because it just creates more issues of getting in the way of my hand. I think for me, it doesn't work. But try them out. I know Dustin wears them. A lot of people like to wear them. And I don't think I have any. Well, yeah. Honestly, those mechanics gloves, those got really popular within CrossFit for a while. People were just wearing those mechanics gloves. And now Rogue has put their name on them, I think, and now they're Rogue gloves. And they're twice as much. So. But yeah, try them out. I mean, if you want to try that stuff, give it a shot, give it a whirl. If it works, it's whatever works, man. Don't let whatever my opinion is or anybody else's dictate what you use. As long as you're still getting the work done and staying safe, you're fine.